Hey everybody! It is the day before Halloween. Ooh, spooky. Happy 13th birthday to Wicked on Broadway. And it's really weird to think that that's 13 years old now. And that was the first Broadway musical that I charted from its out of town all the way up through opening night. I even went so far as to go and find the New York Times so that I could read the review of Wicked from the New York Times. I was a senior in high school, totally nerded. And so, happy 13th birthday to Wicked on Broadway. How is everybody? I've better coffee this week. Which, thank you for all your concerns. Last week we determined it was actually the milk. I buy the Lactaid brand, and I usually buy the store brand, but they were out, so I had to get the name brand, and I forgot the name brand. If you don't drink it in about 5 days, it really needs to go away, and it was 7 days, so that was what did it. So, much better coffee this time. Alright, so we've got, all but the very last of the countdown to Halloween's, since tomorrow is Halloween, and I'm not opening it early. One tiny bit of surprise haul. We've got some whip updates, we have a finish, we have some discussion of upcoming plans, we've got the last of the Oz paper dolls, and I think next month is probably going to be pop-up books. I think that's probably a good choice for me for next time. Because I've got at least 4, if not 5 pop-up books, all of which are relatively interesting. Beyond that, I'm not sure what I'll do. So, that said, let's get right going. Q&A time. Thanks to everyone who liked the Carol Channing story. That was, a year ago, or 11 years ago, today, actually. If I'm correct by what Facebook told me this morning. That was 11 years ago today. Or if not, it was, no, 10 years, well, was it? No, I think it was the 29th, so I think we're just past 11 years, so... oh wait, 1029, it's right above me. Ha. So yes, we just passed the 11-year mark of when I met Carol Channing. Still in the top 5 most magical moments of my entire life. Parks Ridge Farm asks, what brand of silks was it that I showed? Those are unicorn tails. I know they have an Etsy store. I think that's just recently started. I got them through Fabrics by LJ, who, by the way, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary to you and to Nifty Needle Andes for her 1-year anniversary. She just did a giveaway with a gift certificate to my store, and so congratulations, Shannon Stone, for winning. That was pretty awesome. But congratulations to both of you on your 1 year. Alright, Vicky8415 asks, what other books do you like to read in addition to Oz? Well, I love the Harry Potter books. I love elements of the series of Unfortunate Events. I liked books 1. I liked book 2. I did not really care for 3 and 4 and the bulk of 5, since it was the same plot as book 2. And then basically 6 on, I really enjoyed. And in fact, by the end, when it started getting into all the moral gray area, I thought, wow, this is really, really good. I love the Chronicles of Narnia. I loved the first 4 in the Jasper Fforde Thursday Next series. But then he did this time jump thing and wrote off what happened in like a page of exposition, and I went, I would have liked to have read that part. My favorite book, actually, outside of the Oz series, is Flowers for Algernon. So my interests are kind of diverse and varied-ish, mostly bordering on young adult fiction. Kellyville Stitches, I'm glad she liked the spell and the Oz cutouts. That they really are pretty magical. Although I think, in a different way, today's are just as magical. Gayla Slusser asks, have I ever had my better half on as a guest? He actually is in the video back in February. There's a very short one where I show off the finished Rocky Horror because there was a filming issue, so it had already gone to the framer by the time I was actually able to do the film, so you got to see the finished product. And he shows up in that. We were discussing after, probably over Christmas, doing the cross-stitching tag that, I forget who it was, but I know Jessie Marie did it recently. We're planning to do that. And happy 4 a.m. to you, too. Ranning Cardinaux says she's a newer viewer, so if I can point her towards the right video rather than answering, that's fine. I will just go ahead and answer because God knows I can't remember what I say in half my videos. How did I get started stitching, and how long have I been stitching? And have you done a review about what is behind on your walls? I got started stitching because I found an Emerald City chart that's currently in the living room by Camelot Designs on an Oz group that was a lady was selling off a lot of her collection. And I thought, oh, this would be great because I was living at home and I was like, this would be really cute to put in a small little spot. And I fell in love with stitching. And there we go. I've been stitching for a little over 2 years, about 2.5 years now. And yes, I have, most of what's behind me on the walls are just varying different Wizard of Oz prints. I do, however, have, this is Betty Buckley, star of 8 is Enough, Cats, Carrie the Musical, and local Fort Worthian. Of course, the ever wonderful Carol Channing, and Agnes Moorehead. And the reason Agnes Moorehead is there is, you know, there's the thing in German traditions called the kitchen witch, the stuffed witch that's supposed to keep bad juju out of the kitchen. Well, she's my stitching witch, and she goes in my stitchy corner to keep the frogs away. So, I don't actually do any stitching in here because we don't have a second chair, and I prefer to sit out there with him than in here by myself stitching. Andrea Storm asks, have I showed off my Hocus Pocus stuff? I actually don't really have anything. I've got the spell that I'm working on, and I've got some needle minders, and that's about it. I have the VHS somewhere. And then obviously the DVD and the Blu-ray. But I don't really have anything else. There's really not a lot from that movie to have, which makes me very sad. And yes, I did see that Bette Midler won as Winifred Sanderson this year, and that was fantastic. I did, okay, but I can say this. I did, what I had originally thought I would do is, I know at Michael's they sell those wooden books that you can do things with, and I thought, wouldn't it be perfect if I bought the book, made the outside look like Winifred's spell book, and then you open it up on the inside, and there's the spell, and then I could put my minders of the 3 sisters on the inside cover of the book. So you open up, and there's the 3 sisters, and then the spell. Book was too small. I'm going to double check my measurements, but I'm 99.9% sure it was too small, because the book wasn't even 12 inches, and I feel fairly confident, since the entire spell doesn't fit in my Q-snap frame, which is an 8x11, that it's too small. So, so instead I will be stitching the witches, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So that was kind of sad, because that would have been really awesome, because then I would have had this replica book, and then you open up and there's the spell, and then I can stand there with the spell and do this. Because I do that sort of thing. I really do, actually. Sometimes I feel bad for G2. I'm not entirely sure he knew quite what he was getting himself into. So, I did Warren, though. Alright, so, moving right along. I guess we'll do Countdown to Halloween. Well, actually, we'll do the surprise bit of haul. Apparently, I have a restaurant menu that I didn't have. I got a lovely gift from Lourdes at Die Stitch Love. And I think, actually, I may end up wanting to use this for something different than what I was originally thinking I would use it for. But she sent me a fat eighth of a color she dyed called Absinthe. That didn't make it to the regular line. She is taking orders through tomorrow, and then she is restructuring. So I'm going to try and place an order tomorrow, because there's a couple of things I would like that I still don't have. But beautiful, beautiful green. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I really do love her fabrics. And it's a fat eighth of 32 count Belfast. Alright, so let's go into Countdown to Halloween. So day 24 were these really pretty mother of pearl buttons, which you'll actually see again shortly. There they are. They're delicate little buttons, would make an excellent accent to a stitch piece or in finishing. Use them shiny side down for a vintage creepy doll I found in my attic vibe. And it is. So there's, you can see it kind of next to each other. That's the other side of them. So, these actually got used already. Alright, day 25 is 32 count linen silver mist by Stephanie. And it says, this fat 16th of 32 count linen makes a great backdrop for spooky Halloween designs. This fabric is used in a chart in this shipment, and I feel fairly positive that that's what tomorrow is going to be, as a chart. I kind of already know what today is, because I know someone who opened everything early, and I was thinking, well, I need this type of item, but I don't want to go to the L&S and buy it if it's going to be in Stitchy Box, and so I was like, is this going to be in there? And they would not confirm nor deny, but they recommended waiting going to my L&S until afterwards. So that one was a little bit of a spoiled one, but that's okay. So that was day 25. Day 26, I actually really liked. Some people didn't, but I like it. Is a hand-carved wood bead in the shape of a skull. How cool is that? I think it's really, really neat. He kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, it's got a very Tim Burton-y feel. Tim Burton-y, Edward Gorey feel. It's not officially Halloween until at least one skull shows up. This little guy is hand-carved and would make a fab addition to a spooky Halloween scissor fob. Probably not. I'll probably use it for something else. Alright, that was day 26. Day 27 is one Trisha would like. It is a silver owl charm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hoot, hoot, hoo, no creepy Halloween night would be complete without an owl or two. And Liz says, I promise I didn't make that rhyme on purpose. So there's day 27. Yeah. Alright. Okay, come on. Alright, day 28. Maybe I folded the thing up in it. I did. Bewitching brown felt. I like to keep a few different types of backing fabrics in my stitching basket, and sturdy felt is always one of them. This brown and wool blend felt can be used to back a small or an applique. So, some very nice brown felt. Day 29, Black Widow Silk Pearl from Dinky Dyes. This creepy colorway is a Stitchy box exclusive from Dinky Dyes. Silk Pearl works well in lower count fabrics. It is used in a chart in this shipment. So we shall see what it is. I can actually put it all over here now. And then last but not least, here is day 30. Okay. Day 30, Black 15-0 seed beads. No need to make French knot eyes when you have a package of these from Miyuki in your stitching basket. So, just some cute little Miyuki black seed beads. And actually, it turned out I had black seed beads for what I needed, so I didn't even need to go to the LNS for it, so. But some black beads. I can always use black beads. Alright, so all that's left is tomorrow's. So, and I just realized I put that up before I took my pictures, so I need to leave that out so I can take pictures and post them. So next week you'll get to see the final Halloween countdown. The Christmas box should be arriving soon. Yay! Alright, so let's launch into, we're going to do whips, and then we'll do November goal discussions. So this week, I worked on a couple of things. I did the next part of Beautiful Sea, as I discussed I would. There it is. With an Ursula needle minder. I also started in on the Tempting Tangles one, and I got off somewhere, and I didn't feel like frogging. So we're going to wait a little while on it, and we'll discuss some of that with my plans. But here we are. Not that I'm disliking it, I just was not in the mood to frog. I'm off by 2 squares somewhere, and I'm not entirely sure. I know one place is I started it over too far that way, but beyond that I'm not really sure. So, I worked on those. I worked on national parks. I have decided that this is going to be Dad's probably birthday present, because I don't have something to make for my grandmother for Christmas cross-stitch-wise, and I don't want her to be the only one not getting a cross-stitch something. So, I got the top half, again, minus the Aurora Borealis. The top half is complete, and I did start a little on the bottom half, but I was kind of ready to switch to something different. The only major change I've made to the piece, and this isn't even major, I changed the color of the tent. After spending a little while going, that doesn't quite seem right, and since this is for my dad, I sent him a text and I said, hey, what would you color a tent? Like, what kind of a tent did you have color-wise? And he said, well, most of the time the ones he always had were sort of military, so they were a tan on the outside and sort of greenish on the inside. So, in honor of my dad, and since this is going to him, green tent like he had. So, and I started on Arcadia down there, but like I said, I was ready to move to something different. So, my goal next month will be to finish part 3 and to get started on part 4. Since his birthday is in January, I don't really have to have this finished in November. So, I worked on that. I also worked on what had been known as G's Gift, the Storytime Sampler, but I've actually changed my mind. We did some talking about it, and he said, honestly, taking it to class, like, he liked the idea of what I was doing, but he said, honestly, I'll take it to class, and no one's really going to pay much attention to it, if they pay any attention to it at all. And so we decided instead it would be here in the library, and it occurred to me, it would make the perfect wedding sampler, because it's got as of now, it's got lots of our favorite books. We have our spare bedroom is a library. We call it the library. And it really fits us. And most of the wedding samplers I saw there didn't. So we're making this a wedding sampler. And I was already replacing Anne of Green Gables with The Great Gatsby. And as I was looking at it, I thought, you know what? That Gatsby's house looks a little bit like the Overlook from The Shining. And the more I thought about it, I was like, The Shining is his favorite book. What if I change this to The Shining? So I did. I would like to put the caveat out there that my decision to make this change was in no reflection on the pumpkins. I actually really loved the Anne of Green Gables block. He really likes Great Gatsby. They're great blocks. They are absolutely fantastic. This change literally came out of my desire to turn this into the wedding sampler and to figure out a way to include his favorite book. This is not in any way meant to have any sort of negative feeling towards the pumpkins, because there's definitely no negative intent here. Because, like I said, I think they did a really good job overall with this. I made this change to personalize it to us for our wedding. So I put in Jack Torrance. And the bulk of the block didn't change. The house is still there. The only real change I did was I made the flowers green. I changed the clothes on Jay Gatsby. I added a roque mallet and a topiary. Because in the book, not the Jack Nicholson movie, it's a topiary, bunch of animal topiaries that come to life versus a big hedge maze. And Jack doesn't carry an axe, he carries a roque mallet. So that's what I did. And then I made a little typewriter up here for the icon. So there you go. I did not manage to get a second one done this month because of time spent elsewhere on things. Magical creatures took me longer, but we'll get to that in a minute. So there we go. So again, I love the original design. I just wanted to customize it more for our family. So I did not post a picture of this in the main pumpkin group. I did post it on Mania and in Dye Stitch Love, because the fabric is Sandy Shores by Dye Stitch Love. And I posted it in, on Instagram. I won't post close-ups of this or the Harry Potter one in the pumpkins out of respect for them. So those won't show up until I do the finished product. And I'm planning I'll change the banner to our last names, and then I'll work our wedding date under the banner. So, and I think simply because my banner is fairly close in color to what was called for, I think I'm just going to outline the banner versus do a fill-in. So it'll be a little bit more like the Once Upon a Time banner in that sense. But that's because of fabric choice. And I don't want to sit there and stitch taupe over taupe. I just don't. So that brings me to the last thing I worked on. This was a surprise finish. I had wanted to get it done this month, but I figured it would really be next month. And then yesterday afternoon, I was sitting there and was watching Channel Zero, Candle Cove, and was like, you know what? I really would rather focus on this than on stitching. So I started I was like, so that would be something that I could work on while I'm watching the 2 episodes I haven't seen yet. And as I was stitching, I was like, you know what? I could probably finish this today. And I did. Things Unseen is finally done. And with the Mother of Pearl buttons from Countdown to Halloween. I started it November 13 of 2014 because I actually dated this bag. Normally I don't date them. This time I actually did. So it is finally finished. It is on 16 count Ren Ada by Picture This Plus, done with Weeks Dye Works. I did the called for alteration instead of using the big buttons from Just Another Button Company. I did the stitch version instead. Beyond that, I didn't really make any changes other than where I screwed up and I was fudging to make it look like I hadn't screwed up. This is my mother's Christmas present. And it's done. All done. So, that's part of the other reason why I didn't get some things done, was I spent a couple of days working on it at the start of the month. I also had the Oz sale that finished up, so I had several things that got finished up this month. And then again, Magical Creatures took longer than normal. So, this is finished now. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into plans. Something I kind of discovered this month, I've overwhelmed myself with stitch-alongs. So instead of with both Welcome and By the Beautiful Sea, whenever it's my turn, whenever it comes up for me to work on them, whenever I decide, hey, I'm going to work on this one, obviously if a part hasn't been released and I'm caught up, I won't work on it, but I'm not going to bust myself to keep up with every single part. I will just catch up to it, because it kind of was too much. That said, I did actually finish, when I was looking at, I finished more goals than I thought I would. The only things I didn't finish, I didn't do the October story time, I didn't do all the cross-stitch and Beekeeper, I didn't, although Wonderland, when I was looking at it, I realized that was too lofty a goal, but I did not touch Wonderland, and I did not do the Let's Go on an Adventure from Pumpkin Passport. But by and large, I did everything else, so actually I feel much better than I was actually thinking I did more than I thought I had. Because my goal was to finish the Brook Oz, which I did. Finish Magical Creatures, which I almost did, I've just got the parts that I didn't have the colors for left. But otherwise everything else is done. I think it's just the house that I have to fill in. I think that's really all that's left, is filling in the rest of the house. The Oz Sal was completely finished. I finished The Spell and the Details in Hocus Pocus. I finished Clue 2 of National Park. I finished The Top Border in National Park, and I started Part 3. I did technically I did the October part of Storytime. I did not do September, but semantics. I did finish The Tower in Longfellow. Beekeeper, I didn't. The Welcome Sal, I finished parts 2 and 3. And Beautiful Sea, I did parts 1 and 2. So, November goals, which are a little bit lighter, are finish a Brook Oz character, which will be the Quadling. In Magical Creatures, it'll be due November and finish up October. Hocus Pocus, my official goal is I'm going to try and finish the piece. But if I only get, like, the Cauldron and Mary done, that's fine. But I think I can probably get it finished. Things Unseen is done, so it's out of there. I'm not bringing anything up from my rotation. Primarily because this one was my work project this month, primarily. So now I'm going to have other things that are just going to kind of go to work with me. National Parks, finish 3 and both borders, as well as start 4. The Storytime, I'm going to try and get Harry Potter and Peter Pan done. Passport is actually going to go with me to work starting tomorrow, so that I can do the Let's Go on an Adventure, and I may try and get the border around Let's Go on an Adventure done. The Welcome Sal and Beautiful Sea will just be whatever I manage to work on when I choose to work on them. Longfellow, I'd like to have a page finish on, because really I've just got some clouds left, and that's it. Wonderland, I have Alice and the Upper Left Path to do, and Beekeeper remains all cross-stitch. So, those are the goals. I'm looking at next year's, and I think what I'm going to do is, like I did I've already said I'm doing Pumpkin Passport. I want to keep doing the Brooks books once a month. She's got her Disney Princesses starting up on the 15th. However, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of starting it in November, as much as I would like to, I'm going to wait and start it in January. That'll give me 2-month head start on gathering supplies, because I know these are going to have more beads, they're going to have probably more Krennic, they're going to have memory threads, and I don't have a lot of those, and I may not have those specific ones. So this will give me a chance to sort of get what I need before it's time for it. So that's what I'm going to do there. She did finish her Wonderland ones, and oh my god, they're amazing, and I think they will eventually be done as well. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do the Princesses because I'm super excited for those. But I say that now, and in 2 weeks I may change my mind and decide I'm just going to do the Wonderland ones next year, and then I'll do the Princesses. But by then she may have another set of stories started and finished, and I want those. So who knows? We'll see. I've still got in my... because I made that list relatively recently. Things still going. There's Scream House. Do I have a pen back here? That's not just clear. I do this every time. I feel like I need to probably keep some writing utensil back here that's an actual writing utensil, because I just have a white gel pen. What did I do last time? Didn't I find something last time? Maybe? Oh well. I've got Scream House, which I plan to bring back out soon. I've got Blue Jeans, which is still in timeout. There's Potpourri of Stitches, The Clouds Factory Wizard of Oz, The Leslie Tier Wizard of Oz. I've got Octopus Garden, Spring Delivery, Bucolic Dream, Paradise Lost. So I've only got 9 things that aren't currently active. That actually makes me feel better than I thought. Go me! I'm doing good. And obviously I'll have National Parks done soon, and Hocus Pocus will be done soon. And Magical Creatures will be done soon. Look at me go! I'm doing awesome. Huh. I'm much more proud of myself now. Okay, well, that's kind of it there. So we'll figure out plans for later. Alright, so today my plan right now is going to be I really need to straighten up my craft closet. So that's going to kind of be what I do first, and then we'll see from there. A lot of the times after I finish up a project, I don't want to call it burnout, because it's not, it's just a sort of, I need a bit of a breather. But because I go so hard trying to finish, generally when I realize I'm that close, I try and get it done in one sitting. I just sort of need a bit of a break. So today is going to be an organization day, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the last thing up is the final paper doll. Now, this is one of those items that I saw pictured in the Wizard of Oz Collector's Treasury, and it looked weird then, but they didn't really show up online, and then about 2 months ago on eBay, there were 3 all at once, all in mint or near mint condition. And all for a relatively good price, I felt. So I snapped one up. The mint condition one which was still in the wrapper, was like $10 more than what I paid, and I didn't pay very much, but I thought, you know what? I'd rather have one that's already open so I can actually see what's inside it, because to me, that's what I would want to do anyways. So, this is a set, and I'm not sure who made these, to be totally honest. Oh, the Toy Factory of Charleston, Massachusetts, in 1975. They are the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and as you can see, they have 5 paper dolls. Magic Touch feature, rub on, peel off. Clothes and accessories can be used over and over. Hours of fun for ages 4 to 10. Well, you get Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man Lion, and the Wicked Witch. So you open it up, and the first thing you get is the cardboard punch-out paper dolls. So there's Tin Man. Those things there are actually Toto's legs, because there's Toto. So there's Dorothy and Tin Man, Scarecrow, the Wicked Witch, and the Lion. Now, the thing that fascinates me the most about these is not only do you have a Scarecrow that's just a bundle of straw, but Tin Man, who really theoretically probably doesn't have much of an understructure, as well. Oh yeah, it gets weirder. The first page is all outfits for Scarecrow and Tin Man and Lion. You get Rusty Tin Man, Shiny Tin Man, Scarecrow, instructions on how Toto goes together. Look, literally, his head is part of the paper doll. And then an outfit for the Lion. You also get a diploma and the Tin Woodman's heart and the Lion's badge card. So that's page 1. We'll save page 2, actually, for the last. Page 3 is all wonderful outfits for Dorothy. Very 70s. Very 70s. I particularly like the pantsuit, the trench coat dress, those fabulous green bell-bottoms, lots of headscarves and earrings, silver and ruby slippers. So delightfully 70s. But last but certainly not least, is probably the best page in the grouping. First, you get formal attire for the Scarecrow. And then a whole selection of outfits for the Wicked Witch of the West. You get an outer coat. You get a formal shroud. You don't get an informal shroud, but you do get a formal shroud. You also get some pants. Her casual wear is a turtleneck and red bat print pants. Oh, and she also gets a casual headpiece. So basically, when the witch is having her downtime, she's Rhoda Morgenstern. Yeah. So anyway, I was delighted to get these. I think they're a hoot. These are so bizarre. Oh, the 70s. I wish I could have been there for more of you. Or really, any of you. So there we go. So those are the last of the paper dolls. Like I said, they're fabulous in a completely different way than the cutouts were last week. So, I think that's everything for me. This is a little bit longer video than normal, I know. I will see you all next week. I have Friday off. Ooh. I'm getting my makeup vacation day. I don't really have much of anything planned. But I have Friday off. Ooh. So. And I guess that's kinda it. So, I hope everyone out there has a great week, and I will see you all later.